Well, hi my friends, this is Jay, and I'm back with our big finish for our beautiful shawl that we are working from chart number 94. I hope that you stuck with it, and now all we have to do is just make it across the finish line. And I'm here to help you do it. First of all, let's just take a real quick look at this. Well, you have your lace motif, and it's all right to steam it a little bit if you need to open it up just so that you can see things. That's fine, just don't overdo it yet. All right, so now this is what we're going to concentrate on tonight. Here is the bottom lace of this shawl. The first thing you're going to know is just very simple and very easy open lace work. Nothing that should be too hard. I'm going to just kind of pass it here right in front of the camera so that you can see it. And so not only am I going to show you how easy and simple this is, but how the chart held the secret. Because there are secrets in the chart that you never probably thought of, and I didn't either. When I started going to yarn shops, they didn't hardly teach classes from charts. It was always line by row, or line by line. It was only me trying to teach myself charts later on that I started really enjoying them, and hence I wanted to share what little what I've learned over the years. All right, so as you can see, this is just a nice overview of the shawl, of the finished shawl. Here is, well, I was going to put on one of my little dazzles. Here is here's the pretty edging there. Can you see that? Let's see, I don't think I can I'll try to get it when I'm off camera. I'll get it and bring it back. Isn't that pretty? Just so light and airy. That's all I wanted. All right, now let me show you where I got the lace, how I came up with it, and how you can look through the charts and you too can do your own lace. All right, I'll be back in just a minute. All right, so my friends, I've shown you a little overview of the shawl. Now I want to take you to that we have made it to the bottom of the shawl, and now we want a simple little lace. I want to go and show you again, share with you how I isolate a few stitches to make a simple lace, or just a simple little pattern that you can work from, and it won't take that many stitches. All right, first of all, you see I have my chart here. This is the same chart we worked the shawl. All right, and so the first thing I want to do is take a little piece of paper and maybe a marker or a pencil or something, and just ask myself, now what stitches in here that that I enjoyed, or that I just kept seeing, or that I can recognize right away. Right off the bat, I like my 3 friends, so I just marked 1, 2, 3. That just represents knit 3. Then right here on the chart, I'm gonna bring it real close so you can see. On row 5 where we started, there we go, on row 5, she had a little sequence already there. It was yarn over, then that little symbol was slip 2 stitches, knit 1, and then reach back and pass those 2 slip stitches over and off the needle, and then in with the yarn over. So really like three little stitches to make the sequence. So I thought, hey, I like that. And as soon as I see that we have a yarn over, which is an increase, and this symbol is the slip 2 stitches, that's a decrease. Slipping 2 is a double decrease, so she had to put another yarn over. So that makes perfect sense, or look great as a start to making a lace stitch. So this is what I came up with for row 1. Knit 3, yarn over, then the symbol, and then yarn over. Now, I could have looked on and picked out more stitches. I could have some slip, slip, knit, knit 2 together. I could do other things. But I thought, you know what? If I keep it real short, this is only 6 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Real short as I go across the long row of my shawl. I want to just have a pretty stitch that I don't want to have to work real hard to work on. Then, of course, on the reverse side, she purled back, so I purled back. Then I had to come to row 3. I thought, well, I need more. I could have stacked this on top of each other, but I don't think that would have been very interesting. So this is what I came up with. Why don't I stagger the stitches on the next right side row? So I took this little group and stuck it above the knit, my 3 friends. And then I put my 3 friends on the end here. So now on row 3, it reads yarn over. Now I wouldn't necessarily start with a yarn over, but on the shawl, we have a nice border, and I'm going to add some stitches, so it's not a problem. But I wouldn't want to start a row with a yarn over. I'd add something. But here it's yarn over, then the symbol, then yarn over, and then my 3 friends. And then, of course, purl back for row 4. It's only 4 rows. Then I'm back down to row 1. Now you do row 1, of course, all the way across, and then back, and then row 3 all across and back. And you just keep going back and forth. Now how easy and simple is that to isolate a pretty stitch that can make a simple lace. Now let me show you the fun part. The fun part is, okay, well Jay, alright, so now I thought, well, let me show you. Make sure I'm going to have to change my camera a little bit. Let me come in, I'll pull it in and move this up and over. How about that? Now, to make it even simpler, or just for those who, FYI information, alright, say you want to chart it. One of the things that you can do so that you can have nice big clear charts is take a couple of pieces of graph paper to wherever you have your copies made and get them to enlarge them 20%, 25, 30%, just that sheet of paper, so your squares are really big and that you can see them. Alright, so then all you need now is a ruler and a marker. See if I'm still on. Yep, I am. A ruler and a marker, and start with a 90-degree angle. If you just start with a 90-degree angle here and here, that's all you need. Now let's chart it. Right here on my little paper, maybe I can leave that there. Maybe you can see it. Let's see, can you see that? I can move it down a little bit so you can see it just a little bit. Okay. Alright, so on my paper, look, I have knit 3. Well, we already know it's established that empty square or box represents a knit on the front, purl on the back. So I knit 1, 2, 3. See the boxes? Then I simply transfer the yarn over, then this symbol for slip 2 stitches, knit 1, reach back and pass the 2 slip stitches over and off, then a yarn over, stop. Now I can go ahead and pull in my highlighter, and you can draw in the rest of the box if you want to, but you definitely can put in your highlighter to tell you, okay, stop. On this first row, I'll come back up here and keep going. Come back and keep going. Come back every time I need to repeat. Then, of course, this row is the purl row, so it's just empty, because I know on the wrong side, an empty box represents just purl back, and that's what she did in the chart. So far, pretty easy. Now, row 3. I simply transfer what I wrote down on the little piece of paper. Just that quick. Now, yarn over, and then the symbol, then a yarn over, and then 3 empty squares represents knit 1, 2, 3. And then of course you have to have your purl back row. And then you come back down to row 1, depending on how many times you want to repeat it. I repeated mine 4 times. Well, how does that sound? Is that interesting? How quickly? Now, not all charts, and I wouldn't take time to chart out large charts and things like that. It's easy to just go to your stitch book. But to look up these little 6 rows, and I could see right there, I could see right off the bat, this nice little row here with my 3 friends and the symbols and the yarn overs. I thought, well, why not use that? Okay, now the next step is I need to see how it looks in yarn. I need to make a little swatch of what I have put in the chart, in my own little chart now, to see what it looks like, and if I want to add that to my shawl. You don't want to write up something and then not swatch it out. You might get halfway and go, oh man, I don't like this at all, or I got problems. It will show you any problems. All right, so let me get my yarn ready, and I will be right back, and we will swatch our own little chart of our easy lace. Back in just a minute. All right, so I grabbed up some practice yarn so that we could see it before we actually put it on our shawl, so we don't go through all the trouble of starting and going, I don't know. So I wanted you to see. All right, now I've got a couple of rows on, so what I want you to do, like I said, on the practice yarn, we have 6 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So just do a multiple of 6, and I just added 3 stitches on each end for a border. So I cast on 24 stitches, just to practice, just for a few rows. You don't have to do a whole lot, just so that we'll have an idea of what this lace is going to look like. Does that make sense? Make sure I got my camera over so that you can see it, and you can see our little chart. All right. So now let's go. I'm going to call it out. I'm ready to work. Row 1. I've just gone ahead and did a few rows just to get it started. And I've got them on straight needles. I don't know how I'm going to knit with these, but I just grabbed up some straight needles real quick. So I'm going to knit 3. I just put a little border on this little sample. Alright, and then I have a marker, of course. Now watch. Row 1. Right here, we're reading in this direction, 3 empty squares or blank white boxes. It says knit 3, so I'm going to knit 3, just like this. 1, 2, 3. Boy, it feels funny knitting on straight needles. I don't know where to put my arms. Then there's a yarn over. Get me some yarn. Yarn over, and then there's the slip, slip, knit. Now reach back and pass those 2 slip stitches over and off. This is just like we were working on the shawl. Nothing different. Alright? And then of course you have to do a yarn over. Stop. Take your eye. Now, I didn't do it on here because it's so small, but if you need to, this whole thing applies again. If you need to highlight, you can simply do that. So after I do the yarn over, I'm back to the front and I knit 3. 1, 2, and 3. Then I do a yarn over, then slip, slip, knit, reach back and pass that slip stitch over and off, just like that. So you're in the rhythm. You have the same rhythm. Yarn over. Okay, now I need to bring my eye back up to the front. Knit 3. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, then yarn over, slip, slip, and then knit 1. Reach back and pass those slip stitches over and off. Okay. Yarn over, and then I have to slide my marker hold that yarn over in place and do my little border. That was just something I put on here, this sample. Alright, so now you can start, once you have a few rows, you'll be able to check yours too. And you can start to see a pretty little lace popping out. Alright, of course, when you turn the work, you just knit the 3 little stitch border that I added. And then you're going to put the yarn in front and purl, just like we did when we were doing the shawl. Purl all the stitches across. So let me see, can I purl real quick? And then we'll be ready to work row 3. Or I'll just go ahead and purl and I'll be right back and we will start row 3. Back in just a minute. Alright, so I'm back with row 3. Of course, it doesn't take that much, work here on this little sample. But it's very easy. So I knit my 3-stitch border right there. I slide my marker. I still don't know how to and work with these needles in so long. Alright, so on row 3 right here, I'm starting with the yarn over after the marker. So I yarn over. Now watch, I'm going to slip 2, knit 1, that little symbol. Let's see, can I get situated here on my, reach back and pass the slip stitch over and off. Just like that. Then I yarn over and then I have to knit 3. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, then I take my eye up back to the beginning of the row and it's a yarn over, then slip 2, 1, 2, oops, wait, slip 1, 2, then knit 1, then reach back and pass the slip stitch over and off, then yarn over and then I have to knit 3 again. 1, I think I've learned my lesson about these straight needles. 2 and 3. Maybe if I stand up, I'm going to stand up off my stool. Oh, that's better. 1, 2, 3. Okay, here I am. Now I have to come back up to the front of the box again where I have it yellow. I yarn over and then I do a slip, slip, knit, reach back, pass the 2 slip stitches over and off. Then there has to be a yarn over and then I knit 3. 1, 2, and 3. Okay. So yarn over, make sure, yarn over, knit 1, 2, 3. Okay, now I can slide the marker and knit the 3-stitch border. Okay, it worked a little better when I stood up. Now, like I said, you only have a couple of rows, but eventually you're going to keep working a little sample if you want to, just to see how it's going to look. Now I'm going to bring this close, let you see how it looks, and turn it over on the back side. Now, alright, so I wanted to get you started on the shawl you just finished. When I left part 2, you were to continue to work the chart all the way up to row 36. Row 36 was a wrong side row and you were simply to purl back. Now we are done with the chart and you should be on the right side, ready to add our lace. We're not going to have to add any other rows. We can start right on this right side row right after row 36. So I hope everyone is there. We're just going to take it slow. We've already gone over the little stitch with you. I have my little chart up here. Oh. So now let me just tell you this. Make sure I'm in camera frame. Okay, yeah. And that you can see the chart. All right. Now, here's the beginning of the shawl. Okay, we're not worried about the chart. We're done with the chart. Now we want to end we want to stop the shawl from growing. We want to get out of that completely. Now, I could have done it on the wrong side, but it's best to just kind of do it on everything as much as possible on the right side to me, because you can remember it better and you can see it. So here's the right side of my shawl. All right, and you know we had 4 stitches for a border, and then I had a mark, and then of course when the shawl was growing we have that long yarn over. So now I'm going to show you how to stop this shawl, but yet keep the eyelets going down the front. This shawl will not be growing any further. We are done. All right, so what I'm going to do is start out by knitting my little 4-stitch border that we've done all along on the shawl. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Slide the marker and a stop. Okay, I have that long yarn over. Now, if I work that long yarn over, it's going to give me 3 stitches, 3 extra stitches. Remember, we knit, yarn over, knit. Well, I want to get rid of that. I want to stop it. So I'm just going to slip that yarn over off, just like that. But I want to keep an eyelet going down on this, right near the border. I want an eyelet row to continue down the front of the shawl. So what I'm going to do is, after I drop that yarn over, now I'm going to make a new yarn over going in the right direction. So after that marker, I drop the old yarn over that I'm not going to work anymore, but I yarn over the needle. See that? And now I am on, when I yarn over, that's going to give me an extra stitch. So I'm going to go ahead and take the next 2 stitches, knit those 2 stitches together. So I added a stitch, but then I turn right around and cancel it by knitting 2 stitches together. See, I cancel out that extra stitch. But now look, I still have that 1 stitch that's inside of that little, remember I had 3 stitches, and there's that 1 stitch left, so I'm going to knit that 1 stitch. Just knit it, like that. Now this is where, I knew I had forgotten something. This is where you could add a new stitch marker right there that tells you now we're going to start our new lace, row 1, right here. See that? Because you'll have these 3 stitches all the way down, not the border, but these 3 here as we go down, so that we keep that little eyelet. See the eyelet row? We're going to keep it going down the front. So now after I put me a new marker, here goes the first row 1 of our lace chart. It says knit 3. So 1, 2, and 3. Then yarn over. Then slip, slip, knit. Reach back and pass the slip stitch over, and the second one over and off. Pass both over. Now yarn over again. Now I bring my eye back up to the front of the box, because I have this whole row. So I start again. But that's why when I do things like this, I try to keep the stitch count small. So now I just simply knit 3, 1, make sure that yarn, okay, I had that yarn over, then, and then knit 3, 1, 2, 3. I'm trying to talk and do the sample too, so I have 3. Now here we go. Yarn over, slip, slip, knit, reach back, and pass the slip stitch over. See, easy to remember. Then a yarn over, stop. Let's go back up. Knit 3, 1, 2, and 3. Okay. Yarn over, slip, slip, knit, reach back and pass the slip stitch over, both of them over and off. Yarn over, stop. Back to the front. Knit 3. 1, 2 and 3. Okay. Yarn over, slip, slip, knit, pass both slip stitches over and off, make the last yarn over and stop. Now you're ready to go back up to the front. Knit 3. Okay, now I'm just going to stop here after I do the knit 3 just for a minute so that I can just talk, and then we're going to let you start working across. All right. So look at your work. We have 4 stitches for a border. That's the same 4 stitches. I stopped. I took the old yarn off and made a new yarn over and knit 2 stitches together. Now that this shawl won't grow any further. And then I knit 1 stitch that was left out of those 3. Then I put a marker that tells me this is where the lace starts, our new lace here. And I'm going to work row 1 all the way, and then I will come back as we get close to remind you, make sure that you know how, when we get to this side, to this end, how to stop the shawl from growing, because we don't want the shawl to grow anymore. It's going to go down now. It's just going to simply go down, but there will be an eyelet row just to make it look real pretty so that it matches these eyelet yarn overs here. Does that make sense? Alright, so now you are working across row 1. Take your time. It's easy. It's easy to memorize. It's easy to keep your place. You just work across all the stitches, and I will see you as you get close to this end of the shawl. I want to make sure that we stop it from growing. Alright. Whew. Back in just a minute. Alright, so I have worked off camera to get caught up, and I hope you're doing the same, or at least getting ready to. So now we're on this end of the shawl, and we are already started across working our first row of our lace off the chart that I wrote up, and so it could be nice and simple and very clear. And so if you notice, we didn't count, because the stitch count is only it's so low. There's only 6 stitches. So it's a lot easier to me to just go ahead and get started, make sure you have everything right, and then just continue to work across. And then when you get maybe about 5 or 6 inches out or whatever, and you see that you start working, you work in row 1. And we need to just get this row right, and everything else will stack on top of it. Will be just fine. So here's row 1, and I'll have this little symbol there. There's a yarn over on each side. So, and then after you yarn over the symbol, slip 2, knit 1, pass 2 slip stitches over, yarn over, stop. And that's important so you'll know where to start. All right. So now I've gotten down this far, and I need 6 stitches. So this is how to make your this end come out and be correct. Start on the back end and count and make sure you have this. I have 4 stitches for a border, and I already have a marker. You see that? Now, just like we did over here, we're going to have 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to put a little marker, a placeholder, till I can get over there. And then I'll put, here it is. I'll put a regular marker there. But right now, I've just got a little placeholder, just telling me where it is. Now, from this point back, I just need 6 stitches. I made it real easy, very simple. So let's count. 2, 4, 6, 8. Well, I have 2 stitches too many. So all we have to do, or if you were short 2 stitches, then you could add 2 stitches. Does that make sense? Alright, now to add, you could knit into the front and back or something like that, but I just need to decrease, take 2 stitches out. I have just 2 stitches too many. So let's start. Here's my symbol right here in the center. Slip 2, knit 1, pass the slip stitch over, 2 slip stitches over. See it? All right, now the next thing is a yarn over stop. That ends that row. Now I'm back up to the front where I have the my 3 friends knit 3. This is where you can knit 2 together or either knit into the front and the back of a stitch to make the increase or decrease. So I'm just going to simply go ahead and knit. Well, let's knit 1. Make sure after that yarn over, I'm back at the front of the box now. I knit 1, and then I'm going to knit 2 stitches together. That takes care of 1 stitch that I had too many. All right. Then let's see. Then I need to take out 1 more. Let's see where I want to take it out at. I don't want a big lump or nothing to notice. So I'm still here, get ready to knit 3. Well, I'll go ahead and take it out, just knit 2 stitches together again. So now I have the knit 3. Then I do the yarn over, then slip, slip, knit, reach back and pass those 2 slip stitches over and off, and then yarn over, stop. I have reduced because I had 2 stitches too many. I simply knit some stitches together, and it's best to try to do it in the little section where you're knitting the 3. And you really don't, nobody's going to be able to see that, people, trust me. Now I have that yarn over in place, and I have my place marker for my marker for this marker. So I put it there. Okay. Now on this side, we have to knit 1, hold the yarn over. We have to knit 1. We have to work backwards. Knit 1, then knit 2 stitches together. Then yarn over, slide the marker, and knit 1, 2, 3, and 4. I didn't want to take my eye off it and talk, so I wanted to go ahead and do it. Because on this side, when we started, such a long row you may have forgotten, we had knit 4, slide the marker. Then we did the yarn over. The yarn over goes right next to the border. So I had to work backwards on this row. So it was yarn over, knit 2 together, knit 1. Over here, I had to knit 1, knit 2 together, and then do the yarn over so that the eyelet will be right here next to the 4-stitch border. Does that make sense? Okay, so now everything is correct on this row. This is row 1, and this is the one you need to get both ends matching and everything. The shawl is no longer growing. We simply turn the work. Get me some little yarn here. We turn the work and we're on the wrong side. And guess what? All you have to do is just purl all these stitches. So you just knit the first 4 stitches because that's the border. You knit those on every row. We all agree on that. Now let me get me a little yarn here. I'm a little tangled, but I'll be okay. Put the yarn in front, slide the marker, and now I've got to take off all the yarn overs and knit all the stitches across, just like this. Just take your time. Most people make mistakes on this row because you drop or forget or get interrupted and a yarn over falls off, and that's going to mess with the next row, the next right side, row 3. So you just, this is television watching. It's not that hard, but you just want to. You can see how hot it is. You can see my hands are just shining. I have the shine tonight. Oh, so you see, just knit. And if you do have to stop, be sure to cap your stitches. I don't know why people hate to do that. That's just a headache you don't have to have. There's some things we can't control in life, but there are some things we can. And so I'm at a place, I don't stop at a yarn over anything. I find a safe place where there's just stitches or something. Alright, so now I'm just going to continue to purl across And then I don't really think we need to work row 3. Well, let's see. I might get you started on it. But let's just see how, go ahead and purl across. And then the main thing is to walk you through how to end the shawl, where to put your bind off row. But let's go ahead and purl some stitches, and I'll purl some off camera and come back and see what we need to do. Be careful. Take your time. Well, so that we can get to the end, I thought it would be much better and you can see it better if I brought out the original shawl, because it's lighter in color and it's so airy, and you can see the actual lace that you are working on. Adding this lower section already done, you can see how it's going to look and how it's going to lay and how pretty it is. Alright, so this is what you have to do. Alright, when I left, you were working across row 1, setting row 1 in. I shared with you how to make both ends of the shawl match. Alright, then when you turn the work, you are on, of course, you purl back. All the wrong sides, you just purl. Then you work row 3. Now, there's only these 4 rows, and I repeated them because I'm short. I repeated these 4 rows 4 times. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. If you're taller, maybe 5'5" and taller or something like that, you may want to go 5 repeats. It's just up to you. We've gone over the chart. You see how easy the stitch is. It flows really nice. So that's up to you how many times you want to repeat. Once you have repeated the shawl, the chart, as many times that you feel like, for your height, for your body. Alright, you finish the last purl row, and then you're on, turn the work, and you are on a right side row. Here's the right side. Alright, now I need you to simply knit all the stitches. In other words, we're done with the chart now. Now you simply knit all the stitches on the right side row. Just sit there and knit across. Alright, then you turn the work. Once you finish knitting all, you turn it to the wrong side where we would normally purl. But when I bind off, a lot of times, not all the time, but whenever I can, I like to bind off on the wrong side of the work, but instead of using the purl stitch, I like to use the knit stitch, because it gives me it keeps that little funny line on the back, but yet it gives me a little row of just little purl bumps on the front that for some reason I like better than this funny looking line. So I simply, on the wrong side, I bind off, but I bind off using the knit stitch. Now, if you're a seasoned knitter and you like the stretchy bind off, there's quite a few on the web. You can go out and take a look, find someone's site that you like or how they teach it or whatever, and you can try a stretchy bind off for this, or any other bind off that you might like or have used in the past. If you knit shawls before and you said, oh no, Jay, I got one I really like, that's fine. We just need to bind off. Now once I bind it off, then this is when I take it to my ironing board and we do our steaming. Depending on what your yarn, the makeup of your yarn, or what kind of fibers are in your yarn. I just use plain simple yarn, so all I have to do is turn it on the wrong side, take a pillowcase or a dinner napkin, lay it on top, take my iron and steam it, and then while it's still warm or hot, I hand press to kind of pull it out. I do set the point. I do take a pin, straight pin or something, and pull this point out and set it with a pin like that while I'm trying to steam it flat or get it to lay flat, because I really don't have room for to wet block. But if you wet block, you have a place and you normally do it, you have mats and pins and all that. You can do anything that you are used to doing at this point. My job is done. My job is done to get you to work with me on the chart and to stay in there and to hang in there with the lace. That my job is done. So now, and then you just keep doing it until you get it to lay as flat as you'd like it to lay. Don't overdo it though. And be sure if you're using acrylic yarn, you get it hot. You never touch your yarn. You just steam above it. Then you let it cool and then move it to the next section. Steam that section. Hand press it out. Try to get it to lay flat. Let it cool. Then move it to the next section. It just helps to keep the yarn looking nice and fresh and pretty, just like this, and not dead. See, my yarn is not, I didn't kill it. It steamed nicely. My yarn, oh, there's a night bug. Oh, I'm scared. Flew in the window. Whew, through the screen there. Okay, but you can see my lace as I move it along here, just to let you see how pretty it looks and how light it looks. Now the last little detail is what I call the accent. And this is where I would simply, or those that like tassels, you could add a tassel. I don't do tassels as well, so I usually just add some really pretty fringe on my little point. At the point that I've pulled out and steamed and pulled, make sure it has a good point. I take a good number of pieces of yarn that I've cut, a certain length, double it, take a large crochet hook, and you know how to make a fringe at the tip. And then if this fringe is all curly or whatever, or having a bad hair day, I steam it also. Shh, shh, shh. I don't like bad hair fringe. I like my fringe to look real pretty and laid just like the shawl. Okay? And then, just for fun, now back at Easter, I did a whole tutorial on what I call shawl dangles. And this is just where I maybe take a charm or more than one charm, some beads, a chain, some really pretty chain, and one of these little lobster clasps. So it's just a charm. Here, this is an angel charm. I did a whole little tutorial, so I'll put that on there. And then, so it's just a way if you're going to give this shawl to someone, maybe their favorite thing, maybe they like stars. So you find some pretty star charms and you put that on there. Or maybe they play some type of instrument. Maybe you can find some kind of musical sign or symbol that you can put on there. It's just fun. Something, or for yourself. Maybe you just like hearts. So I will be sure to add that over in the comment section so that you can see how to make your shawl dangles. That's what I call it, shawl dangles. And it's just a pretty way to kind of end things. Well, let's see, have I covered everything for you to finish? I hope so. I have enjoyed this journey. I hope you have enjoyed taking it with me. I hope that not only are you that it has piqued your interest in knitting from charts, but it is inspiring you to like, oh, Jay, I want to know more. I want to learn more. Like I say, and I will pick and choose. There's some just, there are so many shawls we could never even get. This is not even scratching the surface. So I just want to pick out some that I can do, yet I can grow. Then I can share them with you, and you can grow. And that is the whole point. And I just think it's a lot of fun. And like, I hope you were surprised to see all that you could learn from a shawl, from the chart. That it's just not a simple chart, but there are hidden little secrets and clues and things that you can do on your own. Like I said, her book is beautiful. There's some beautiful, I showed you the really pretty borders, lower borders, stitches, but I just don't have the energy or the time or my body just can't take when I get to the very end to do 18 more rows, 24 more rows, 36 more rows. I just can't do it anymore. So I look for a nice, easy, but a really pretty way and a simple way to just end it. And I hope that you like it too. So I can't think of anything else. I am so excited. Now, let me just say this real quick. I promised that I would take this stitch because I'm a person, I don't necessarily have to have, well, what's next? What's next? I want to know as much as I can. So I have taken this stitch and I promised that I would put it in a tutorial so that you could always find it. You wouldn't have to like, wonder what shawl was that? I remember Jay had a stitch that was real pretty and simple, you know, especially for those that are still new at knitting and there's so much to understand. So I try to keep it simple. So I am doing, the next thing you will have is Jay's stitch tutorial number 16. And it will be this stitch. And I'm going to just put it in a nice tutorial so that you can always find it. I'm going to give you a working formula. So if you want to make a little scarf or a little something, or even a little blanket or anything, I give you the formula or show you how to make your little formula. That's what I work from when I'm doing my little swatches. So that will be coming up. That's the next tutorial coming up after this. Then after the stitch on into July, I'm trying to work up I wanted a top down like a summer sweater, a little lace, but I couldn't quite get the numbers right for the one I was trying to, that I had in mind. So I'm just going to go ahead and work one up in 2 pieces. Hey, best I can do, and just hope that you'll give it a try. So just want to let you know what's on the schedule, and that this is not the end, this is just the beginning. So this is Jay, and this is Jay's Knit and Purl Jam, and to all my friends, everyone, everywhere, and every size, I just wish you happy knitting and thank you so much, and I will see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.